Alright, it's your boy Neo the Marauder back. Alright, I got some news for y'all. I want y'all to do me a huge favor. If you're following all this bullshit and you're seeing what I'm seeing and you're getting fed up with it, check it out. This is what I got for you. Alright, so I have been saying since the start of this war in Ukraine involving Russia has been an utter grab for any and every potential financial relief, as well as increase and improvement in weapons, tech, as well as various sorts of other equipment and gear. We have sent trillions and billions of dollars over to Zelensky and Ukraine. Let's get something very clear. They are forcing children to fight a fucking war. Children that just want to live their lives and be kids. Don't mistake that. A 17-year-old is still just a baby. You're not truly matured until you don't really truly start maturing until you hit 24 if you're a male. Here's the thing. We are funding a nation to send babies to fight a war. Now, I'm not degrading any of the soldiers or volunteers over in Ukraine. Their fight is honorable, it's noble. Most of them are trying to just protect their homeland, their fellow neighbor, their brother, their sister, their husband, their wife, what the fuck ever, their kids, their nephews. They're just trying to protect their way of life. And to that, I honor you for that. But it breaks my heart to see a leader lie to an entire world. And this is the proof. I want you to go to Glenn Beck's channel on YouTube, and you're gonna type in "prepare for war." Hang on, correction. Let me get it back up here. The title you're gonna type in is "War with Russia is possible, so we must prepare." That is on Glenn Beck's channel. You're going to watch starting at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Tell the end time of 8 minutes and 6 seconds. I do encourage you to watch this entire video through, because there is a lot of good factual stuff that Glenn does point out. In this, at that time frame in which I have given you, Glenn Beck has even confirmed that Zelensky pretty much is using the world for finance and weapons, as well as various sorts of other tech, equipment, and gear. Did you guys know that Zelensky just called Ukraine, or not Ukraine, but China, and asked good old Xi Jinping to help him rebuild Ukraine? So, if we're going to fund a potential ally, why are we allowing him to associate himself with the enemy? Make no mistake. China is the enemy, and Russia is its ally. So think about everything I just said from the beginning, and ask yourself, why have we allowed our government to send tax dollars that we have busted our backs for, that we struggle to just put food on the table for, if we're going to fund someone who goes and assorts himself behind our back with the enemy? Ask yourself that question. Why is it our college students must suffer? Why is it our youth must suffer? Why is it our elderly must suffer? Why is it our veterans must suffer? I will never claim to be a combat veteran because I've never deployed to combat. But I will tell you I am a veteran, and I took a certain oath. And a lot of you know, just like I do, that oath is never over until you are buried 6 feet under and no longer breathing. Until you reach the golden gates of heaven, your oath still remains intact. The weapon just changes. Where we once used a rifle or a mortar or a grenade launcher of any sort, now we use this, and this, spoken in truth and unity. The only way to defeat the very narrative in which all of us, no matter our race, no matter our sex, no matter our creed or sexual preference, we are all being used as pawns on a chessboard, as those of power, currently the corrupted, sit back, laughing as they count their bloody Reichsmarks to the sound of our bodies dropping. It's not just our country. They're doing it to every single country, every single nation in this world. The only way to put an end to this is to unify. The only way to get this stuff to stop is to unify and call your congressmen and women. Demand that they stop funding a corrupted war. Demand that they start putting the tax dollars in which we give them into properly rebuilding our nation, into providing proper care to our youth, our elderly, our soldiers, and our veterans. Let me ask you a question. When is the last time you've seen someone build a armored bus for kids to go to school in? Did you know that Israel currently has schools with nuclear fallout bunkers that are capable of sustaining the entire town? Ask yourself, when's the last time we ever thought of that? I'm not talking about a basement. No, that's a death capsule waiting to happen, and you know it. When's the last time we put funds into properly vetting and training armed security guards with not just a pistol, but a personal defense weapon of some sort? When is the last time we put proper funds in for schools to be properly inspected to make sure that their safety measures are fully functional and do not need repairs? If we can allow foldable towers to extend up with snipers in them to watch the roofs and vicinities of the White House, if we can provide an armored limousine to transport a president of this nation, then why the fuck can't we do it for our kids? We have all been played for as fools, and we have been put in a narrative that we didn't even approve of. And it started not back in the 80s. No. You see, your rights have been robbed far, far long ago. It started in the early 1800s. The America in which you once knew never even existed. The life in which you thought you had has only been but a fantasy. You have been lied and manipulated just like I. And the only way to stop it is to unify. Peacefully come together. Whether you're African American, whether you're, if you guys call yourself Latinx now, Latinx, whether you're Irish American, Latino American, Somalian American, African American, like I said, Native American, whether your family came on over boats from Germany or France or wherever the fuck your heritage came from, if you call yourself an American like I, and you truly believe in standing up for freedom, then you need to stand up now and unify. They distract and corrupt your mind with things like differences of race and opinions based on that matter, differences of a religion and opinions based on that matter, differences of sex and sexual preference based on that matter. That matter meaning a political narrative. They don't care about you or I. We are all equally worthless in their eyes. We are viewed as cattle being led to the slaughter while they profit. Now is the time for you to stand up and tell your congressman or congresswoman that you demand that they stop this political narrative bullshit, that you demand that they cease and desist all funds regarding a corrupted war in Ukraine, that you demand that they secure your borders, that you demand they open up the Keystone Pipeline, that you demand that they drop taxes on food, gas, and everything in life that we use and do. You shouldn't have to pay for a parking spot. Nah. You shouldn't be paying federal taxes. That shit was only created during World War I, and it was only meant for a time of war. So, ask your congressman or woman, are we in a time of war? And if they say no, then you ask them, why the fuck are you sending my tax money to fund a corrupted narrative? This is all I have for you today in your news drop. Forgive me of my speech impediment. It tends to happen when I get pissed the fuck off. When I see my people of all races, all religious beliefs, and all sexual preferences, in all walks of life, when I see them being lied to, walking over, even if they're in a different nation, it pisses me off. And it should piss you off too. You can't sit aside no more and just say, I want to be left alone. They're not going to leave you alone. They will never leave you alone until you stop it by unifying and demanding that they stop. You don't need a weapon to do this. Where the Constitution gives you that right. A wise man once said, the greatest weapon that a human being, could ever possess, more powerful than a nuke, is this. This. And this. Spoken in truth and unity, and supported by factual evidence that has not been tainted. Where do you stand in history today? Where do you choose to draw the line? Neo the Marauder, out.